This is a production of the Gold Arrow Podcast Network. Hello, and welcome to the Gold Arrow Camp Podcast, a podcast for friends of Gold Arrow Camp. Throughout the year, we join you to bring your day some of what makes Gold Arrow special. Our goal is to help you have fun, make friends, and grow throughout the year, not just when you're at GAC. Since we can't get together in real life, we gather here around the virtual campfire. We have some of your favorite parts of morning assembly like wows and joke of the day. We also have interviews with experienced campers and some of your favorite counselors. We think it's a lot of fun and we're glad you joined us. This is episode 43 where we're joined in studio by one of our first year counselors from last year. It's Kiwi. Today, Kiwi came by the Gold Arrow Camp World Headquarters to chat with me here on the podcast in person, and we had a really fun chat. She has a unique perspective on camp because she grew up enjoying her summers on Shaver and Huntington Lakes, but she wasn't a camper at Gold Arrow. It was great to chat with her about learning about camp and also her experience at camp this summer and how she's changed because of camp since she's been back at college. Without further ado, here's our chat, me and Kiwi. Oh, welcome to the podcast, Kiwi. What's up?
Hey, not much.
You've never been on the podcast before.
No, I haven't.
This is exciting stuff.
Yeah, very exciting.
And this was your first year at camp.
Yes. Correct.
Also exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people might not know you. So for people listening at home who don't know you, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to camp, and what you do for camp.
Well, my name is Kiwi. It was my first year, like you said. I was an activity counselor on the waterfront. And how I found out about camp was my mom used to work at camp back in the late 80s, early 90s, I believe. And I live in Clovis, which is pretty close to camp. And just like I've grown up going to Shaver and Huntington, and I just kind of knew about it. And I wanted to apply for fun, and I ended up there.
So was your mom also like a waterfront counselor, or did she do something totally different?
Yeah, she did sailing, big canoe, and water skiing.
Outstanding. That's we don't break it up quite that way anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's not like I'm a water ski and sailing instructor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you like it? Was it everything you thought it would be?
Definitely one of the best experiences of my life was working at camp. It was kind of like my first time going away from home.
Sure.
And just getting rid of my cell phone and being up there in the mountains, connecting with people and working with kids really just humbled me and helps me have a more positive outlook on life.
For sure. Out of all of that, what was your favorite part of working at camp?
I would say my favorite part was probably meeting people, whether it be
Sure.
other counselors or meeting the kids and just getting to know their life stories and just all about them and their life experiences. And
Okay. So now we were talking before we started recording about you're back at school, you're studying, back in the grind of the life.
Yes.
I would note you are wearing the Go Home t-shirt like when you came for the interview. So we're in your business a little bit. What from camp are you kind of using on a day-to-day basis back in the world at school?
I would say getting rid of my cell phone and being more present with people.
Sure.
You can look at my screen time on my phone and it's gone down significantly. Before camp, it's really embarrassing. It was probably 7 hours a day.
Sure, yeah.
And now I can get it down to 2 or 3.
That's awesome.
I don't need it as much anymore.
That's very cool. When you talk to people who you're friends with who haven't been to camp and you're like, yeah, I don't use my phone nearly as much, do they think you're a crazy person? What's their reaction?
They're like, wow, that's great, because everyone knows that the phone thing is a big problem, but they're they just can't imagine getting rid of their phone. That's what most people, I'm like, oh, you got to come work here next year. They're like,
right?
Oh, but my phone.
Right, but how will I do it without my
Yeah.
phone? I think to some degree a lot of our campers feel the same way, right? They're scared that they're going to have their phone. What advice would you have for campers or for really staff members maybe who are listening to this who are scared about not having their phone?
I would say, I know it sounds scary, but you just got to do it. You have to think, when you put it in perspective, really there's nothing on your phone that is that important. I know I'm there, before, even the first couple weeks at camp, my phone broke one time, and I had a mental breakdown because I couldn't get a new phone until I went home again. But trust me, like you, after a while, you don't miss it anymore. Once you're like at camp and
Right.
connecting with people, you won't miss it. Like I promise.
That's outstanding. What in your first year at camp, what was the biggest surprise to you?
I guess the experience that everyone was having, like it seemed to have like a major impact on a lot of people. Like there were people that would be in like my tweak cabin and like they'd be like a little bit more negative at the beginning of the summer, but as it enrolled, just people and as well like campers, just seeing them how they like changed and
Sure.
like how they ended up loving it. Like some campers on the first day, they might have been like more homesick, but by the end they were like just completely like in love with camp life.
That's awesome. What was your favorite thing that happened this summer?
My favorite thing was definitely probably doing Niski Wake at sunset during free time.
Ooh, yeah.
Always fun stuff happened there, and it seemed like that was when everyone like would accomplish their goals. Just like it was happened to be during free time. Super fun.
End of the day, a good way to end the
yeah.
day. So you came for your first year, which for a lot of people is like a super scary thing. Like it's a
Yeah.
big deal to like kind of fly out of the nest. It's a big deal for staff people. It's a big deal for campers. For campers specifically, what kind of advice would you have now that you've done it for the first time? What advice would you have for them when they come to camp?
I would say come with like a positive mindset. I know it's scary, but just come ready to try new things
Sure.
because that's really how you grow and experience life and enjoy it, is by trying new things and going out of your comfort zone. So just come ready to like embrace like challenging your fears and doing things that are like way out of your comfort zone.
Okay. Speaking of maybe like outside your comfort zone, so you're really comfortable with the waterfront. So if you could be a camper for a day, what activities would you want to go to?
I would probably want to try some rocks and ropes stuff,
Okay.
like maybe the zip line or the naturals. I got to do that a couple times when I was like GC for the day. But yeah, definitely rocks and ropes or mountain biking. That looks very interesting.
Oh, I don't. The high rope stuff gives me the willies personally, but I do think people have a good time. Maybe, I don't know. All right, so here we go. Speed round. 5 questions we ask absolutely everybody who comes on the podcast. Kiwi, what's your favorite camp song?
The Moose song.
The Moose. He's on the loose with juice in his hair.
Yes.
Dangerous times to be a moose. What's your favorite item on the salad bar?
Black olives.
I talked to somebody earlier today who was a black olive fan. Favorite lip balm flavor?
I think it was the key lime.
Oh, zip lime.
Zip line, that's
Zip
what it
lime.
was. Yeah.
That's a good one. Very cleverly named. Around the campfire, marshmallows or popcorn?
Definitely popcorn.
Okay. And finally, Kiwi, what's your real name? Oh, we're all out of time. Next time you're on the show, we'll get your real name. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Kiwi.
Of course, thanks for having me.
In a world with far too much seriousness, far too much drama, we bring you something different. The joke of the cast.
Do you guys know why bicycles can't stand up all on their own? Because they're too tired. Get it? They're too tired. At camp, we love making friends, but we know it's harder to make friends at home. That's why we bring you this, the friendship tip of the week. So here's a friendship tip for you. Ask new people that you meet, or even friends you've known for a while, questions about themselves. People love to talk about themselves. And then ask them follow-up questions about their answers so you can really get to know them. Here's a fun question that a cabin came up with when we asked them to come up with questions this summer. If you were an ice cream topping, which one would you be and why? Here's your GACspiration for the week. It comes from Mandy Hale. And she says, a great attitude becomes a great day, which becomes a great month, which becomes a great year, which becomes a great life. Well, that does it. That's another episode of the Gold Arrow Camp podcast in your earbuds and done for the week. Special thanks to Kiwi for actually physically coming by the studio this week. Love it when we have visitors stop by. And thanks to you for listening. If you like the show, share it with a friend, rate it and review it wherever you get podcasts. As always, I'm Soy, and I'll save a marshmallow for you.